Okay, chapter 11, driving on expressways. Welcome back. If you look at this classification of highways, wow, that is a heck of a interstate system there. I don't know how many lanes are going across there. Hopefully you won't tackle anything quite like that yet. And then look at the next slide there. It says bring your GPS for this. Tough to know which direction you were going. That's the handy thing about the GPSs. And some good rules to live by here. So basically this means you're in the right lane traveling. Look at that middle lane there, or the middle sign says stay in this lane unless you're going to pass. So you should be in the right lane traveling most of the time. Should not be in the left lane going down the highway, 2 lanes on your side. That's reserved for passing, unless you're passing. All right, and look over the far left. It says if there is someone behind you and no one in front of you, then get out of this lane. So again, get to the right lane. And this last one here, it says, if you can't figure out why, then take this lane. In other words, you should be out there driving. So primarily you stay in the right lane and the left lane is passing. You don't want cars passing you on the right. Classifications. In the U.S., there are 3 different classifications of highways: the interstate system, U.S. highway system, state highway system. Name and design features for highways vary. Characteristics of expressway driving: the advantages of expressways, expressway interchanges, safe driving strategies. This is all the things we're going to be talking about in this chapter. So what are the advantages of driving on an expressway? A controlled access highway is a highway that vehicles can enter and exit only at interchanges. So fewer collisions because you have cross traffic is eliminated. It has a median or a barrier between opposing lanes of traffic. Pedestrians, non-motorized vehicles, and slow-moving vehicles are not permitted. Wide shoulders and extra wide underpasses provide good escape paths, and signs are designed to help drivers anticipate conditions well ahead. So examples of expressways include interstate highways, freeways, turnpikes, toll roads, parkways, and beltways. Fewer collisions because there's no cross traffic. The median again, no pedestrians. Slow moving vehicle. In Iowa here, you have to be going at least 40 miles an hour. So that's the minimum speed. If you're not going 40, you have to get off. Wide shoulders and extra wide underpasses. And then the large signs. Grade elevation means that the bridges and tunnels are used to direct traffic over or under other traffic lanes. 4 different types of interchanges. These are interchanges where people can cross or over or under, as well as can enter or leave the expressway. Cloverleaf, diamond, trumpet, all directional. Non-controlled access refers to the highway in which traffic can enter or leave at any point, not just at interchanges. Turnpikes are used to designate toll roads. The U.S. highway system was the first highway network that connected states. The state highway system is a network of highway existing within the boundaries of a state. So what are some safe driving strategies on expressways? You should travel about the same speed as other vehicles without exceeding the speed limit. Prepare yourself and your vehicle, your travel plans, know where you're going, know what route you're taking. Even if you have your phone GPS on your phone, you should double check that because before you leave, because sometimes bridges are out, and you should just know the general path, because sometimes GPSs will take you on a little bit different route than maybe you want to go, right? Let's say you're going, I remember we went to vacation, we went to Alabama, and the route kind of took us off of some main interstates and down in, some city traffic and, some smaller highways. And I probably should have looked at that a little closer and just not relied so much on my phone. You can plan stops for food, fuel, and rest. it's just good to have a plan, you know, to where you want to stop, what roads you want to take. Keep vehicle in top condition to guard against mechanical failure. So, for example, you just want to make sure that you have your oil change right before you leave on a long distance trip. Um, Probably check the tires, check your belt to make sure there's no torn or rips underneath the hood. So there's some basic common sense things. Build experience gradually. Choose a time when the traffic is light. Avoid rush hour traffic. Practice entering and exiting several times. In light traffic, practice lane changes. So you're not going to experience like, downtown Phoenix, here in the driver's ed car. But, it's best to get a little bit of experience, like, driving on the 4-lane here before you head up to like Iowa City or Des Moines. Concentrate on the driving task. Traffic conflicts develop more rapidly. High-speed expressway driving can present a high degree of risk. You want to cooperate with other drivers. Resist the urge to challenge other drivers. React cautiously if someone cuts you off, and then be courteous to others. So when you're entering the controlled access highways, guide signs mark most entrances and give the route number, direction, and name of a major city located in that direction. You have an expressway entrance ramp. Evaluate zone conditions, determine the safe speed. So this is the beginning part, right? You're just getting on like what we call the ramp, right? To go to the 4-lane. That's just the entrance. The acceleration lane is usually marked by a solid white line. And this is where you adjust your speed to the flow of traffic by searching for a gap. You might have to put on your brake when you get to the merging area. But you're signaling, and in the merging area is that last area, and you blend into expressway traffic. Merge at the same speed as vehicles in the nearest lane. If there's no gap, then you have to apply your brake, tap your foot brake pedal to alert drivers behind you that it's being denied. I just put this up here because when you are entering an expressway, sometimes there's a close proximity between where the other side is exiting and where your side is entering, especially if there is a kind of a switchback. So you need to make sure that when you enter the expressway, that you are doing it in the correct lane. And a lot of times they'll have this, if they're side by side for the exit on the other side, it'll say do not enter. So it's another reason why, not to be drinking and driving at night, because these lanes can be kind of close, or not to be really tired, right? Make sure you get a good night's sleep, because you don't want to be going down the wrong way of an expressway. So here's an actual picture of it. So we're coming up from the bottom by the bushes there, and then the 4-lane here. So the entrance ramp gives you the time to evaluate zone conditions and determine the best speed as you prepare to enter the expressway. Acceleration lane is usually long enough for you to search for a gap in which to merge and accelerate. So the third part is where you blend into it. Evaluate how much time and space you have in your open front zones for merging into the flow of traffic. Never back up on an expressway ramp or an expressway. Make sure the entrance is the one you want. Check front and rear zones, signal, take a quick glance over your shoulder to find a gap. Look for an entrance ramp signal light. Gradually increase your speed and decide when it is a safe time and place to merge. Before merging, decide which vehicle to follow. Adjust speed to match traffic flow. Position vehicle at a safe interval behind the car. Cancel signal and adjust speed to the flow of traffic. Keep a space cushion all around your vehicle. As possible problems, entering the wrong entrance ramp. We already talked about that. Cooperating with other vehicles. Short entrance ramp. No acceleration lane, high walls that divide expressway traffic and entering traffic. And then sometimes there are signal lights where that helps space traffic, usually red and green determined electronically by a volume of traffic. A hole in a traffic is an empty space between traffic clusters allowing a point for entry. A ramp meter is a set of traffic signals that controls the traffic flow onto the highway. Some acceleration lane problems, rush hour traffic, very short acceleration lanes. Make every effort to stop if you must stop. Flash your brake lights, pull onto the shoulder, wait for a large safe gap to signal, and then accelerate quickly as you join the traffic flow. Merging area problems, adjusting your speed, a closed front zone. Merger into far left lane of expressway traffic. High speed traffic lane, the potential for a conflict is greater. Visual checks over your right shoulder is more difficult than the left. Some expressway ramps are located on the left or of the expressway. This is a problem since this lane is usually for high speed traffic, so the potential for conflict could be greater. Applying the IPDE process, higher speeds, multiple lanes, and a heavier volume of traffic can make the identify and predict steps more difficult. So identify, design to give drivers long sight distance. High speeds, multiple lanes can reduce visual information. Beware of other drivers not fully focused. Do not become trapped between larger vehicles. The car is now blocked by the trucks, and how could this be a problem? Well, it could be a problem because, for obvious reasons, but you might not be able to even see which highway you're supposed to be taking. So predictable traffic flow. Parked vehicles on the shoulder may pull out. Watch for slowing traffic. Speed or decide speed magnifies drivers' indecision. Avoid last-second decisions on driving adjustments. One thing I always say here is that if you accidentally exit the wrong, you're going to exit the wrong sign, the wrong ramp. You made a mistake. Sometimes people will make last-second swerves to avoid that. That's very dangerous. Remember, you can always go off the exit ramp and then come back and get on. So you don't have to take any high emergency maneuver situations like if you're accidentally go off the wrong one and swerve back on. Don't do that. Just take it, and then it'll give you an opportunity to get off and then come back around. Execute your decision slowly and smoothly, and signal early. Lane choice, safer to drive in the right lane, pass on the left. Reserve the center and left lane for passing and faster traffic. Use center lane around entrance ramps with a high volume of traffic. Sign, signals, and roadway markings. Know your destination. Read signs and roadway markings. Always think ahead. If there is a yellow X in the lane you are driving in, it is going to be closed ahead. If there is a red X in the lane ahead, that lane is closed. Common speed is the speed used by most drivers, and by using this, you can better blend with expressway traffic. Wolf packs are groups of vehicles traveling together in a bunch on the expressway. Reversible lanes are traffic lanes where traffic can travel in either direction depending on certain conditions. HOT stands for high occupancy toll lanes. They allow drivers to pay a fee in order to drive in a high occupancy lane with only one person in the vehicle. Signs like these are promoting safety driving. Following 3-second falling distance is a safe plan under ideal conditions. They increase when conditions are less than ideal. So in other words, you need more, like 4 or 5 seconds. When you're following a large vehicle, following a motorcycle, bad weather, roadway conditions are bad, heavy traffic, being tailgated, pulling a trailer, or entering or exiting any type of an expressway. The blind spots are both left rear and right rear zones. Do not travel in another car's blind spots. Being followed, reduce speed to encourage tailgaters to pass. Change lanes if needed. Check rear zones frequently. Do not slow if heavy traffic prevents a tailgater from passing. So lane changing, avoid changing lanes too often. Change lanes one at a time. Don't go shooting from one side of the expressway all to the other side. Signal each lane change, check blind spot before changing lanes, and cancel signal. Remember that your mirrors are not going to show everything. So you could have a car appear in your blind spot. You go to move over and you smack that car. It's going to be your fault. So you need to turn your head, turn your shoulder, and your neck, and double check before you move into another lane. Passing is easier on expressway than highway because all cars are going in the same direction. Expressway speeds and high volume of traffic demand caution and concentration. Pass on the left is most common. Pass on the right if a slow driver is occupying the left lane. Being passed, be aware of vehicle position doing the passing. Move to lane position 2 or 3 when needed. So if a car is passing you on the right, you'd move a little bit farther left. That's lane position 2. If a car is passing on the left, you'd move to a little bit to the right, especially like a semi. Keep speed steady and then do not accelerate. Exiting expressways, move into lane designated by the sign. Deceleration lane is an added lane in which to slow your vehicle without blocking vehicles behind. Exit ramp, you lead off the expressway, leads into a sharp curve. If you miss your exit, just go to the next exit. As you enter the deceleration lane, you must check for these 4 things. Judge the lane's length, identify the exit ramp speed, check speed while braking, and check traffic in rear zones. Special expressway problems, highway hypnosis, an inattentive, drowsy state, fall asleep at collisions, more than 100,000 each year, and drivers fail to recognize their own fatigue and sleepiness. So I don't know, a few years ago when my daughter played on a volleyball team in Des Moines, we used to drive up there and we'd come home from Des Moines from practice. And I know there were times when we'd be driving on the highway, the 4-lane, and I would think to myself, have we passed the Pella exits yet? Have we passed them or have we not passed them? And sometimes I really couldn't remember. And to me, that's a good sign that I wasn't really paying attention as good as I could have. I was kind of hypnotized a little bit because I should be aware of if I'd passed those exits or not. And of course, nothing happened. But what can happen sometimes is people fall asleep, and that's obviously dangerous. Velocitation is the hours of driving can fool you into thinking your vehicle is traveling slower than it really is. And you continue to drive at expressway speed after exiting. So this is common, right? You drive on the 4-lane for a couple hours, 65 miles an hour, and then you exit, and then you go down in a residential area, and you think you're going kind of really slow, so you keep your speed up, and then you get a speeding ticket. So you need to be aware of that concept of velocitation. It makes you feel like you're going slower than what you really are. You usually get that after you've been driving on the 4-lane. So roadway conditions, expressways through cities, more exit and entrance ramps, drive in the center lane, know your exit well in advance, get into the correct lane early, search constantly for signs, signals, roadway markings. If you have a disabled vehicle, check rear zones and signal, pull off the shoulder, turn on hazard flashers, raise the hood, and tie a white cloth on the antenna or door handle. If you have a cell phone, call for help. If you have flares or reflectors, set them out for at least 500 feet behind. Get back into the car and lock all doors. Never get into a stranger's vehicle, and do not direct traffic. All right, that's it for this chapter. Thank you.